Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the Edge of Adventure podcast. My name is Adam Asher, and it's great to have you with me today. And I've been thinking, back before 2020 got completely weird, back in February, I had the opportunity to travel to Mexico and visit some friends of mine in the border town of Reynosa and on the outskirts of Saltillo in the mountains and deserts of Mexico, where these friends have served and given of their lives, almost their entire lives, serving children and communities in need. Well, today it's time to check back in with Micah Carter of Big Heart Orphanage and one of his most loyal supporters, a good friend of mine, Brad Charles. A couple of guys who have indeed chosen to live their lives on the edge of adventure. Brad and Micah, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Guys, it's great to see you. This is going to be an interesting conversation. We want to get some updates, find out how you're doing in Mexico, and all of those wonderful things. But you two and I, the three of us, we've been friends for a while. So this is a special treat for me to get to catch up with you guys, see how you're doing, and also check in at the Big Heart Orphanage and see how the kids are doing. So a lot to catch up on. So let's kick it over to you first, Micah. How have you guys been? And this has been a very interesting year. It's been a very challenging year. Brad and I had the opportunity to go out and visit you guys back in February. We had a opportunity to see you guys and all that was going on there. Since then, the world has changed.
Quite a bit, yeah, quite a bit.
How are you guys doing?
I mean, we're still taking it a day at a time. We've been very fortunate and blessed that we haven't had any issues, in our group of kids and our family as far as anyone getting sick or anything like that. And so we're very blessed to be able to say that. We do know that it has taken effect here in Reynosa quite heavily over the past, I guess 6 months or so. We do have some people close to us that have unfortunately passed because of the virus and everything. But it really changed up our year for us because, everything kind of stopped. We went directly to doing school online towards the end of the year last year. And so the kids had to adjust to that, knowing that going into next year, they were more than likely going to be online. So they adjusted to that well. Unfortunately, the internet service here in Mexico isn't the best. So I think, I don't know, it runs slow, let's just say. So to have 6 to 8 computers now trying to do Zoom calls and all that kind of stuff, it gets bogged down, and so we run into issues there. But the kids, and our teachers, they know that that's all a part of it, and so they're learning to adjust to that. But for us, as a whole, and as far as Big Heart goes, the coronavirus kind of just stopped everything as far as people coming and visiting, because usually our spring is a pretty heavy time when teams come from all over, and then our summer is our busiest time, and so all teams canceled from. I think y'all probably were the last people that came in February. Maybe we may have had one other team come towards the end of February, but nothing in March, and until now we haven't had any teams come down, and so it's been interesting adjusting to that. We've had this project that we're working on right now where we're building a new kitchen for the orphanage and cafeteria area, which includes a laundry room and some bathrooms and all that. And so we've been able to continue to work on that, thankfully. We do rely on teams that come down to help with the finances, because they bring down money for materials, or bring down materials themselves, and also the labor. They jump in there and help us out. But not having teams, has just been myself and our guys that work with us on a day-to-day basis. And we've been chopping away at it, one day at a time. But and it's coming along, and we're very excited about it being done hopefully before the end of the year. So we got set back on that quite a bit, but I mean, it's all part of this whole situation that I think everybody's trying to adjust to. And the kids are doing well. They understand that, it's a hard time for everybody. Again, I believe that they also understand that we're very fortunate that we have a small pool and we have a playground and we have an open area where they can ride bikes and play soccer and kickball and volleyball and skateboard and all that. Although they may be confined into these walls that they live in, they're still able to go out and play and have a good time, which it's not the same case for our neighbors and stuff like that. So we are very blessed in that sense that we've taken advantage of that and know that other people don't have it as fortunate as we do right now. So, but besides that, I mean, like I said, just taking a day at a time, staying healthy, and seeing what comes next. So.
Well, it's good to hear. I know it's been a challenging year, but it doesn't surprise me that you guys are getting through it, being innovative and creative, and continuing to take care of the kids there at Big Heart Orphanage in Reynosa. Of course, when Brad and I were down on site with you guys back in February, we were briefly in Reynosa with you guys. We got to see the wonderful operation there, and then also got to travel farther inland farther into Mexico to the part of Mexico which is Saltillo, near the large city of Saltillo. You guys are kind of on the outskirts there. So we're going to talk about that and several updates we need to be sure we take care of. But Brad, let me kick it over to you. I know I asked you this question similarly when we were down in Mexico on site there with the guys, but you really are the reason why I ever got connected with Big Heart, because you've been working on and off through the years with Big Heart. You've always been very supportive of them, and you've had construction projects. How long has it been? How long have you been working with them, and what was it that really drew you to what those guys do there in Mexico?
It's funny. When I was 13, I went on my first missions trip to Mexico, and we worked with Gator, which is Micah's dad. And I don't know, it kind of I guess floored me from my normal suburban life to going down, and helping people, with labor, with money, with just giving whatever you had. I was 13. I didn't know how to do anything. So, basically just loving them, the kids and the teachers and the people in charge, and getting to know Gator and Deanna, Micah's mom, and I don't know, from then on, I got disconnected for several years, but then when I don't know how long ago, Micah, when we did
10 years
your house 10 years ago. Yeah. 10 years ago, I reconnected with them, and just went down there when Micah decided to kind of go full-time helping, Gator and Deanna. I went back down there with a big construction team, and we helped build Micah's house. And so from then on, me and Micah have just been, probably as good of friends as me and you are, Adam. We're tight. I don't know. I fell in love with the place, the attitude, the ministry, just doing good for people. That's what we all need to do. Whatever gifts we have, we need to give to people.
And that's a message, Brad, that you are always very good to drive home. So I know that for some of the other projects you've had in Puerto Rico and Colombia and some of these other areas where you've worked and you've been supportive of organizations, you always remind people that they have a gift of some kind Everybody's got a gift. I like how I think you say something to the effect of, I mean, you're good at something, right?
Right. Exactly.
And so use that to help other people. And that's a message that you've driven home in all the different ways and different places that you've helped. And I know that it's something that's very true in your own life. Okay. So you got involved back as a teenager, early in your teen years, helping Big Heart. You got to know Micah and his family that way. Your expertise is what, and how do you use it to help these organizations like Big Heart in Mexico?
I'm a carpenter, and there's I've been a carpenter for probably 25 years. So I've pretty much just go all around the world helping people, just doing carpentry work. I mean, helping building orphanages or Red Cross stations or kitchens or whatever, putting roofs on and stuff. But that's what God has let me learn how to do, and that's like my talent. Not the best, but that's what I got to give.
All right, so Micah, now let me ask you, what's it been like over the last few years having to put up with Brad?
It's always fun. There's always an adventure when Brad comes, and I say that in a positive way. I mean, he comes down with a positive attitude, brings a couple guys. Sometimes he'll just come by himself. He'll call me up and say, "Hey, I need a weekend off," or I need to get away for 4 days, and I'd love to come and help. And so he'll come down, and well, there's always a project that has that needs to get done, and that we're either already working on or that we've set aside that we're going to get to eventually. And Brad's like, "Well, I'll do it. I'll take care of it." All right, well, come on down, and then so we have a couple days of hanging out and working together and getting stuff done, and then we'll go somewhere. I mean, if from one minute to the next, it's like, hey, let's go to I don't know, what was the last place we went to? La Pesca. Yeah. Like let's go to La Pesca. I was like, all right, let's go. We jump in the car and head down there. Sometimes we'll go to Monterey or we'll go to Victoria or wherever.
That sounds just like Brad.
Yeah, exactly.
That is Brad. That's quintessential. That's him.
It's an adventure. And so not only do we enjoy having him here and getting to hang out while we're doing stuff here and getting things done that need to get done, but just the fellowship and like Brad said, I mean, since he's been coming down, the relationship that we've been able to have and the fellowship that we've been able to share during the time that he's been here. I've gone to see him and his family in Georgia and enjoy that time over there. But it's just become, like a brotherhood, and it's been awesome. We enjoy it.
So, Micah, as these groups come down, look, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that for an organization like yours to function, you need a large network of people that care about the region and the people that live there and that care about you. You need that. And of course, it goes without saying that an organization like yours needs funds. Okay. That's obvious. Okay. Well, we know that needs to happen. But as you get volunteers, as you get organizations, people or organizations that send people to help you, what are the groups that bless you the most? And I'm not even talking about financially in this regard. When a group comes down, and I know you guys work with large groups all the time, pre-COVID, and once we get past this, what are the groups that really bless you guys?
That's kind of a tough question, because in every sense, every team that comes is a blessing, because they come down, some not knowing at all what they're going to do when they get here. Others plan it out a little bit better. But I mean, the ones that I enjoy the most are just the ones that, like Brad said, there's something, that you're good at something. So let's, find out whatever that is and, use it. And if you're like, if whatever talent you have, we're not going to be able to use, listen, we're going to be pouring concrete. and we're going to work as a team. And it's cool to see the teams that come down. They may be involved in a church or from a school, or, you know, it may be a church team that's coming, but just some people there invited some friends, you know, and they come down. And so it may be a team of 10, 15, 30, 40 people. They may not know each other. All of them know each other, but by the end of the week, they do. And by the end of the week, they know each other. They've, you know, built a good friendship together, and you just see these relationships begin to grow. And then not only with them as a team, but then the communication and the time that they spend with the kids here at Big Heart, and the relationships that are built there, and they go further than just the week or 10 days that they're here or 3 days that they're here. It goes further to say, like, you know, writing letters with each other, or coming down more than, you know, once a year. You know, maybe they plan a trip by themselves and come down and just continue that relationship with the kids, so that they see that's an example of somebody that's wanting to do what God has put on their heart to do, as far as going on a mission trip. You know, a lot of people, I think, come on a mission trip thinking, I don't know why I'm going, but I kind of feel like God's telling me to go. So let's go. Or they just see it as an adventure, or they see it as, well, I'm on vacation, I might as well do something with my time. But we're blessed to hear, which we hear often, and I don't say it pridefully or boasting about it, but, you know, a team always comes wanting to help us and serve us and, you know, do whatever. But they, you know, we'll have talks, or we'll hear from people that have come and just say, you know, like, we came to bless, but we're the ones leaving blessed. And that's because of just what God does during that time that they're here, and the relationships. And like Brad said, I mean, when people come, they kind of just become part of our family, just like any kid that walks in our gate. Every kid that comes and we work with and lives here, and we get to invest time in, when they come in that gate, it takes a few days to adjust, but within days, they are part of our family. They are. This is my lovely wife, by the way, working hard while I'm doing this video with you guys. But that's the thing. I mean, we hope that when people come, they know that they feel at home and that they're part of the family. And I feel like people leave really feeling that love, really feeling that connection, really feeling at home. So
I want to ask the same question of Brad. I actually have two questions. First question for Brad is, what is your advice to the group or the person who feels that call to help a missionary or a humanitarian organization, to serve them in some way, some capacity, right? What's your advice to them as they come down? What's the right perspective to have as the helper?
I would say, don't go in thinking you know it all. Go in saying, what do you need? And just do what they need, because you don't know what they need.
Right. But sometimes I'm sure sometimes it can be a challenge if a person is really good at something, and perhaps they've built a career on something back in the States, then they want to go help and they want to pull from that expertise, and they will undoubtedly. But sometimes things are done differently in other countries, as I think, as we've learned. And
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I always, I try really hard to, wherever I go, to submit, you know, to that authority. I mean, Mike is younger than me, but I don't care. He runs the orphanage, you know, so I got to do what he wants to do. And I'm like, Mike, I don't think that's a stupid idea, but I end up doing it anyways, you know, because that's what he wants done. And so you got to do it. I mean, everywhere you go, your whole life, you got a boss. And, you know, doesn't matter if you're a boss at home, you know, if God wants you to go to missions, you know, trip or whatever, you got to do what they say, not what you think is right. Yeah, does that make sense?
It does. You said it perfectly. You said it perfectly. And in the second half of, or the second question, second part of that is just following up on what Micah was saying. Uh, have you found that you come away feeling more blessed than maybe the blessing you were able to share while you were there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, every time. I mean, just, I go to work every single day, and a lot of times I work harder when I'm, at Big Heart than I do at home. And, but it's still, I don't know. It's what I have always wanted to do, like full time, is, help people with what I know how to do. But, you know, I need money too. So I got to work at home. And then, when I got a break in between houses or whatever, that's when I can go. But every time, it doesn't matter where I go. It's always, when I go, it's a reassurance of that's what I need to be doing with my life. Just but without doing what I do at home, I wouldn't know how to do what I do when I go other places.
Sure.
So yeah,
It's all got a purpose. It's all
yeah,
got a place.
exactly.
And just for the sake of those watching the podcast and listening, on the Edge of Adventure YouTube page, if you're not subscribed over there, please go over there, subscribe. And on that page, you will find great videos, several of which have Brad in them, and you get to know him a little bit more on some of those videos that I have posted there. And then throughout the Instagram and Facebook platforms for the Edge of Adventure, you'll find a lot of great videos that were taken back in February. Very um, off the cuff type videos where we got to know Micah and his family and all the work that they're doing there, and the kids, those precious kids. And just encourage you, if you're catching this for the first time, check out some of those other videos on those other platforms. I think you'll be blessed. So let's go now talk to Micah again. Question: knowing that not everybody necessarily watching this would know, but after we were there in February. We talked to your dad. His name is Gator. Talked to him. We were out at the Saltillo location as well. Got to see that. Your dad, however, took a fall, and he was hurt pretty bad. But I understand you've got some good news that you can share with us at this point.
Yeah, he down at the orphanage in Saltillo in the mountains. We are also doing a construction project down there where we're building the new dorms for the kids, which will also include a cafeteria and kitchen area and all that, dining area. But on that project, my dad was climbing up a scaffolding and double stack scaffolding. So he was up probably a good, I don't know, 8 or 10 feet, and unfortunately the scaffolding fell over, and so he fell over and on the concrete, and then the scaffolding fell on top of him, and he ended up getting, I believe it was 3 fractured vertebrae and I believe 4 fractured ribs. And so and that was back in April. And he's starting to get around a little better now. Fortunately, has gone to shock therapy and doing a little bit of physical therapy now. And the doctor says that the bones have healed, but he still just has a lot of pain. So he's able to, he was basically just in bed for at least I would say at least a month. But starting to try to start getting up a little bit here and there, walk to the living room, sit in his chair for a little bit, and then have to go back and lay down because of the pain. But he's getting around a little better now, moving around slower. than normal, but still in quite a bit of pain. But thankful that he's still walking around and driving back and forth from Saltillo up here and stuff like that when needed and stuff. But yeah, just one day at a time. Is where we know that his pain will eventually go away. So
All right. Well, I'm glad to hear that he's doing better, but I'm not happy. I was hoping he was not in as much pain. Sounds like he's still dealing with the pain. So we'll keep him in our prayers, and also just have to check in on him, make sure we get an update as he continues to heal. But I know him well enough to know that he's a guy that loves to work, and he loves to work on those properties and to make things better for those kids. And he's just got to, things happen, but tell him to be careful, that we love him, want to be sure he's around for a long time, because some of that stuff can be very dangerous. Fill us in now. Some of the people, of course, who've been following the Edge of Adventure, they have a good understanding about what you guys do. But give us the overview of what you do there in Reynosa, and then also in Saltillo there in Mexico.
So Big Heart was started about 20 years ago. In fact, October, it'll be 20 years that we opened our doors here in Reynosa. Since then, we've been able to help a pretty good amount of kids, and we still have connections with kids that have already grown up and left and kind of started their lives and moved back and have families now and stuff like that. But we have our orphanage, and then we built a school for our kids at the beginning of it. We had just built it for our kids to kind of give them a homeschooling or private school just for the kids that are here at Big Heart and like our staff. But just because of the need and just the constant requests from the local neighborhood families, we ended up being able to register it as a Christian private school and open it up to the community. It's grown over the years. The first 10 years or so, we were, again, when we opened it, it was for our kids. But as we started allowing kids from the neighborhood to come in, we were in the 60s, 70s, 80s students in our school. It was just an elementary school. But since then, we've grown to where we have a kindergarten, an elementary, we have junior high, high school, and now we're even offering college courses from a university that's in Monterey. So we're kind of like a satellite for them. But all that to say, we have just over 500 students this year. Even with the situation with the COVID, we've had to make some adjustments where needed. But fortunately, we've actually had more families come and enroll into our school. So that school is doing well, learning how to do all the whole online teaching and stuff. And so that's been fun to work through, and we're still trying to figure out. And I think it'll take a little while to still get it down well. But the word is right now that they may spend this whole school year online here in Reynosa. At the very earliest, it'd be January before they go back to actually being in a classroom. But it sounds like the more of what we hear and what our principal reads and everything, it may be the whole year that they just do it all online. So that'll be challenging, but we're ready for it. And then besides our school, we also work a lot in our community, especially with teams that come down. We do different outreaches where we feed people, build people's homes if they need it, build churches for pastors that need it, clean up local parks, and just do any sort of community outreach that we can. And we give out food on Monday mornings. We have families that come to our gate, and we hand out food for those in need. And And then we have the orphanage now in Saltillo. That came about 2 years ago. It was an orphanage that was already functioning. It had been functioning for about 14, 15 years. And the missionaries that were running that were already kind of up there in age. They had decided that it was time for them to move back to where their family's from so that they could spend time with their kids and grandkids and great grandkids. They reached out to us, asked us if we were interested in taking it over. At first, we were like, "There's no way," but we'll be praying about it. We'll, if it's not that we're supposed to, then we'll be praying for the people that are supposed to be taking it over for you. And so we agreed to that and we committed to that. And we went down and visited them and visited the place, and it was a process of a few months that we just felt like we don't know how we're going to do it, but there's something in us. The more we pray about it, that we feel like God is telling us that this is the next step for Big Heart. And so when we decided that we felt like we had confirmation from God that was what we were supposed to do, we jumped in and we decided that we'd take it over. And so my parents ended up moving down there, and that's when my wife and I guess took over Reynosa along with my sister Opal. So we co-direct this location here in Reynosa, and my parents moved down to the mountains. If you're wondering how far it is, it's about a 3.5 max 4-hour drive from Reynosa to the orphanage in the mountains. It's just past Monterrey, Nuevo León, Mexico, and right before you hit the big city of Saltillo, Coahuila. So 3 states away, but only about a 3.5-hour drive. And they're doing well down there. They have 8 kids already down there. And yeah, it's going real well. Real well.
Brad, through the years, how have you seen the orphanage and their overall organization grow? Start having, listening to the story about how they started in Reynosa and then later, more recently, expanded to Saltillo. But from the outside, right? I mean, you've got a lot invested in them and friendship and all that, but you also have the perspective that is from the outside, right? As you've watched it grow and helped it grow. What's it been like for the last 10 to 20 years?
Well, when I was 13, the orphanage that Gator was running was in Benito Juarez. Isn't that right?
Yep, that's correct.
So how that wasn't called Big Heart, was it?
No, that one was called Benito Juarez.
Okay.
In Reynosa, but the name of it was Benito Juarez. But that was back we moved there when I was 3, so that's 30 years ago, and we helped run that for about 5 years.
So, and then Gator went and started his own thing. That was Big Heart, right? And that was 20 years ago.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, as far as the orphan, it's funny. I know it's an orphanage, but I really don't spend any time with the kids. I spend time with like Micah and Gator, Deanna, Jenny, and like Robert, which is the principal of the school at Regents. So I don't know. It's like as far as growing, yes, it's grown exponentially. It's great seeing what it's become, coming back every year. You're like, man, you pour more concrete here, there, you put in the bathroom there. That's great. It's just I don't know. It's almost like I'm proud of them, and it's not just like, I mean, we've all seen people that just build their own kingdoms, but it's not what this is. It's I mean, they're doing it for a reason. They're doing it for a purpose, and and they're going to be rewarded for it, and they've already been rewarded for it. No telling what it's going to be in 20 more years. I don't know. I may, move in down there. Who knows?
We're hoping.
So let's talk about some of the projects recent projects where even the kids join in and participate. So I've got a couple of pictures here as I look at your Instagram account. By the way, if you want to check them out on Instagram, it's at Big Heart Orphanage. At Big Heart Orphanage. Look them up, okay? So, Micah, walk me through. What are we looking at here? Who's this?
That's Angel. Angel is here with his one of his siblings, his sisters, and we're in the process right now of building, like I said, a new kitchen and cafeteria area here on the grounds at Big Heart in Reynosa. And the project started. We had a kitchen already, but it started with, I just needed to replace the roof because there'd been add-ons to that building like 2 or 3 different times. And so we just wanted to take the roof off, put a new roof over the whole thing to get rid of the leaks that we had and the messed up ceilings because of leaks and all this kind of stuff. So we started with that, took off the roof. And as we took off the roof, we realized that the building was pretty much falling in. The block walls, because what I didn't mention before, when we bought this property 20 years ago, we actually bought it 24 years ago, 25 years ago. It used to be a Bible school. So the buildings are 40, 50 years old. And so when we took this roof off, these old walls were ready to cave in. So we just, even though it wasn't in the budget, which we don't really carry a budget, but we didn't think we were going to have to build the whole thing over again. We just wanted to put a roof on. It turned into a huge project. So we ended up knocking down all the walls, and besides the roof, knocking down all the walls and starting from scratch. So the kids saw us working on it, constantly, and they were constantly wanting to help. And some of the boys would come and help here and there, and the girls, and then they were like, "Well, we want to help, more." And so we dedicated a day, like a Saturday, and they were all excited. So we worked with them during the morning, just right after breakfast. Ran out there. As you can see, they're doing a lot of digging and stuff. We were digging the footings for the new building, and so they helped, with moving a lot of dirt and spreading stuff out. And they worked hard. I think it really blessed me because it's like they took pride in the fact that, wow, we're gonna have a new kitchen and a new dining room and a new laundry room and all this. And because we have multiple buildings on our property, but we all eat together as a family. All of us, every single meal we eat together, we do everything together. And so they, that same mindset of, we're a big family. So they saw it as, wow, we're getting a new kitchen and we want to be a part of it, helping. And so, it was awesome to see them work so hard and no complaints, no nothing. And then we worked until lunchtime, and then after lunch, got in the pool and hung out. And so it was a really good day. We had a lot of fun with them. And so the project is, of course, a lot further along from that. I think that was back in January or February, I believe. But on that project, it's gone to the slab, the walls, the roof. Everything's been run, all new electrical, all new plumbing. Everything is run on that. In fact, today I was putting up sheetrock before I got on this phone call with you. So running the sheetrock. I touched base with Brad earlier today with some advice on some wainscoting that we want to put in it, and just finishing work because we've done the ceiling also already, and now we've got the walls going up, and so it's coming along very well. It's still got a little ways to go. Like I said, hoping that by the end of the year that project will be done. Our goal was to have it done by the end of August, because we had expected all these teams to come and help, but because of COVID and that not happening, pushed back. But we're not complaining. We're glad that it's getting done, and we are enjoying the project. So it's been good. It's been good.
So, Micah, describe for people. Of course, what we want to see is people who watch this. I want them to reach out to you to get more information. Go to your website. Just reach out to you, encourage you, let you know that they appreciate what you're doing, because I know that so many people do. And then if possible, if it's a good fit, we'd love to have people support you guys financially, one-time gift or whatever it is, just do something, get involved. So paint the picture then, the locations there in Mexico where Big Heart Orphanage is, what is life like for that community? And what is it that Big Heart is providing in those organizations? I mean, in those communities. So as an organization, you guys are able to provide what, thanks to the partnership of everybody else?
I would say our neighborhood is I would say a middle class neighborhood, middle to low class. There's a local kindergarten, elementary, junior high school that's about 3 blocks away from here, and most of the people in our area either have their own business, which is either being a mechanic or a mason, or those are the 2 of the main ones. But the rest of them will more than likely, I would say about 80% of the people in our neighborhood, or more, maybe 90%, work in the factories that are about a mile away from us. We live real close to a bunch of factories, anything from Caterpillar to Kohler, to what else? Emerson, and I mean, there's a bunch of different factories around this area, and that's the job that most people have. Working anywhere from, I mean, a short shift is probably about 8 hours. You're not going to go in and work less than 8 hours. Most people work anywhere from 10, 12, even 14-hour shifts a day. And so the families that we're helping, the people that we help, more than anything with the kids here, we're giving a place to stay for kids that come from single moms. These single moms are either working at a factory and working 10, 12-hour shifts, coming home and either trying to get some rest before they go back to work again, but still have to provide for their kids. And if they're, if she works a night shift, she's back during the day to be with them or try and get some rest. She's working a day shift, then who's watching the kids? They're either running the streets, or we've actually had some people, where they lock their kids in their house while they're at work. So what happens if there's a fire, or if there's, one of the kids gets hurt and they can't get in or out to help the kid? Many things can happen, but so what we do is we provide a safe place and a home and a family that will love on them, that will show them God's love more than anything, and point them to Him, and hope that they make a decision to follow Christ. But our goal is to also just bring hope to these families, hope to this community, and then with the kids also giving them good quality education. We really strive to make sure that they are getting good education. And like I said, even though there's a local school here, 2 blocks away from our school, just the effort that we put into our school, and to make sure that we take time and we show God's love to the kids. We're able to do a lot of things that most schools wouldn't be able to do, because we are known as a Christian private school. And so one of the huge opportunities that we have at our school is that even though we're a Christian school, I would say maybe 70% now still don't know, or maybe aren't followers of Jesus. So what we have the opportunity is that they're coming to our school because of the quality and the education that they're going to get. And while they're coming to come to a good school, they're then getting to know Jesus, and through Bible studies, through conferences that we have, through just conversations and relationships that are built, and we're able to see kids come to Christ. I can't say this year because they're not meeting, but this last year we saw multiple kids come to Christ, and even teachers come to Christ. And so it's just been real cool to be able to have that opportunity, and and know that it's a huge responsibility. I mean, how many churches that you see out there, just wanting to share the word and reach people, and they're trying to find ways to bring the lost into their doors. And God's like, well, y'all built this school, and we've worked together to set up this program, and now I'm going to bring the people. So now it's our responsibility to say, man, we've got all these people coming in our doors, all these kids and families that don't know Christ, and we're the example, and we have that opportunity to share Christ. And we count it a huge privilege, a huge responsibility. So it's been cool.
This is the Edge of Adventure podcast, and we are talking today with Micah Carter from Big Heart Orphanage in Reynosa and Saltillo, Mexico. Also with us today, good friend of mine, good friend of Micah's, Brad Charles, who is, many of you know, travels and assists and helps and serves organizations in many parts of the world in similar ways, just by coming alongside them, serving them. In particular, with his craft and his trade as a carpenter and as a builder. He's the kind of guy that can get those things done, and those kinds of skills, of course, can be absolutely invaluable, super valuable in these locations where there's always a project that needs to be worked on. And I know, having been there, to Reynosa and Saltillo, great location, great facilities, years of work that you guys have put in to make that possible. And yet I know there's always something else. There's always another need that as you continue to take care of the kids there and the communities. So as we get now close to the end here of our time, Brad, give us a pitch. Why would somebody benefit from getting involved with Big Heart, helping them out, coming alongside them and saying, hey, these are my skills. This is what I can offer. This is how I can be supportive. Why should somebody consider doing that?
They pay you.
This is Brad Charles. You never know. You never know what he's going to say. I think he said they pay you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which they don't.
No, I just it's once you start doing stuff for people, you won't stop doing stuff for people. If you've never done stuff for people, you need to start doing stuff for people. Doesn't matter if it's in your neighborhood or at your food bank or whatever in town. Like I've said a few minutes ago, whatever you're good at, use it. If you speak Spanish, or if you speak Portuguese, or if you're a good cook, or you're a carpenter or electrician, you need to find out where you can best use your skills. And when you start helping people, it'll come back to you also. And that's not the only motivation, but that is a motivation. So I don't know. I'm extremely blessed to be a part of Big Heart. I would consider myself a part of Big Heart. I've invested a lot of time in Big Heart, and they are my family. And it would be really cool if you got involved in Big Heart, because you would be part of their family as well. So I guess that's pretty much sums it up.
Well done. I said, give us the pitch. That's amazing. That's spoken from the heart. It's one of the reasons why Brad and I have been friends. Is I always admire the way he expresses himself. Sometimes you don't know what he's going to say, but when the truth comes out, it is real, it is authentic, and as you get to know him, and a lot of you have already gotten to know him a little bit through some of the other videos and activities we've had, but just always awesome to spend time with you, Brad, and wanted to be sure you were on with this interview. Wanted to get an update from Big Heart, wanted to talk to Micah, but I know that you've meant a lot to the organization there through the years. And, you had to be on this call because you're the reason why I found them and got to know them as well. So, Micah, as we wrap up here, what's next for Big Heart other than getting through the adjustment back to normal or the new normal after this whole COVID scenario? Other than that, what's on the horizon for you guys as we wrap up the show today?
I mean, besides the work projects that we have going on, really our focus is just, getting through this time. There's an opportunity for us to, well, I would say it's in the works for us to also start a school down at that orphanage in the mountains. That orphanage is about a 25-minute drive from the city, so it's out in the mountains, and right outside the walls there's a community out there, probably about 40 families, and there's no school in that community. They actually have to drive into town, but what the school does is that they go to, they come and get picked up like at 5 in the morning and don't come back until 6 p.m. So our hopes are not only for the kids of Big Heart, but for the kids in that community to be able to open up a school on the campus in the mountains and be able to give schooling to the kids. And there's also no church in that community, and so we're able to do a lot of different outreaches. But we're praying that potentially somebody would want to come and maybe even pastor a little church there in that community, so that that community could be reached. But besides that, I mean, working on our school, the growth of our school here in Reynosa is just continues to grow, which is a good problem, but it's still a problem just because of our facility size and all that. We're looking at maybe purchasing the land next door that is a vacant lot and expanding that way, because just we were built to maybe have 300 students, and to have 500, we've done what we need to do to be able to do that and do it right. But size of the facility really needs to grow. So that'll be next steps for Big Heart in our school in the next few years, hopefully. Just waiting on God to show us what the next steps are. So.
All right, guys. Well, very well done. Again, my guest today, Micah Carter from Big Heart Orphanage. Let's take a look at the information here. You can look them up at bigheartorphanage.org, bigheartorphanage.org. That's really how you're going to find them on Instagram. That's how you're going to find them on Facebook. And you should look them up and follow them, like the page, stay engaged with what they're doing, but reach out to them, let them know you're there, let them know you heard about it here on the show, and you want to find out how you can help. And as I think we've learned today, there's not like big ways and small ways to help. It's just the fact that you come alongside them and help in some way. It's going to bless you. It's going to bless them too. And that's it. That's what we're all about here. And to me, these guys, they're the kind of friends that mean the world to me. So thanks, guys.
Thanks, Adam.
Thanks, Adam.
All right. You guys ready for the big theme song to end it out, to end the whole thing? Ready? Don't blink, you'll miss it. Right here on the Edge of Adventure podcast.